Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bria and I love everything books. I sat down earlier today and filmed this entire video and I had probably like 40 minutes of footage and there's no sound. So it's completely unusable. So we're back and we're gonna go over all the books that I read in June and I'm gonna repeat everything I just said like literally 2 hours ago. So that's great. Anyways, yeah, let's get into it. I read 9 books this month, which is pretty good. I'm doing much better on my reading goal than I was last year. I think I'm about 1 book behind. I'm trying to read 100 books this year. So we're basically on track for that. So I don't know, we have to wait till December and see if that happens or not. I didn't have any DNFs this month, which was good. But also, all of the new books that I read were all 3 and 4 stars. So kind of a mid-reading month, but that's okay. But yeah, let's get into the books that I read. Oh, of course, they're all out of order now. I'm gonna do my best to do them in order, but this could be wrong. It doesn't really matter. These are just all the books that I read in June. Okay, let's get into this. First is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I read this in one of my vlogs earlier, and I've never read a Kristen Hanna book, so this was my first, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star. Honestly, it's because I talked about it in the vlog, but I read a book called The Room on Rue Amelie. Is that how you say that? Anyways, I read whatever that book is called a few months ago, and they're basically the same plot as The Nightingale. They're both about a girl who lives in Paris during World War II, during the Nazi invasion or occupation of Paris, and she helps British Royal Air Force or RAF pilots who fall down into France. She helps them cross over the Pyrenees into Spain, and then from Spain they're able to go back to Britain to help out with the war. And so it's a really interesting story. It's just, this is the second book I've read with that pretty much same plot, and I felt like The Room on Rue Amelie did it better, and I was more connected to those characters than I was in The Nightingale. But it was still a solid book. I really enjoyed Kristen Hanna's writing. I will definitely be reading more of her. I have 2 more of her books. I have Homefront and Firefly Lane, I think. Yeah, this was really good. Also, my expectations for this book were like up here. Everyone that I've seen read this has been like sobbing their eyes out, so I was expecting this to be like extremely sad. And don't get me wrong, like this is a sad book, but it wasn't as sad as I was led to believe, you know? But regardless, this was a good book. So if you like historical fiction, especially like World War II, this is a solid choice. Definitely read it. So yeah, like that one. Next up, what did I read next? Oh yes, I read Lady of Milkweed Manor by Julie Classen. This is a book that I found like at a thrift store where there was literally so many of this lady's books. And so I grabbed all of them because she's a Christian Regency author, and I've read a few books in that genre and they were all so good. So it was like, might as well get some more of this genre. So this was my first book by her. I chose this one because it was a standalone and I kind of just randomly chose. I just kind of wanted a random book to read because I went to a summer camp and I was a counselor, so I wanted a book to read the way there and back because the drive was like, I don't know, 4 hours, like 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So I got a huge chunk of this done. Actually, yeah, I finished this while at camp. But this was kind of disappointing. I gave it 3 stars. It follows, what's her name? Charlotte. It's an accidental pregnancy trope, and she's like ostracized from her family, and she's like in this home in London. I think London, yeah. She goes to the Milkweed Manor in London, which is like a home for single mothers to try to like rehabilitate them back into society. Yeah, it was just kind of weird. There wasn't really a plot. It was just kind of following Charlotte's life over like the year or so that the book covers. And yeah, it was interesting. It's kind of a second chance romance, kind of. She becomes a wet nurse, which I didn't really even know was a profession until I read this book, so that was kind of interesting to learn about, like the history around that. But yeah, it wasn't anything impressive. It was just like, I enjoyed reading it, but like, I didn't really care for it that much. So it was 3 stars. But I'm hoping some of her other books will be better. I don't know, we'll see. What next? Oh yes. Next was a reread, and that is Wonder by R.J. Palacio? I don't know. This is a book I read probably in like elementary school. Yeah, I want to say it's probably before middle school even. I'm pretty sure it was like a class assignment or something, but it follows a little boy named August, and he is born with a whole slew of things like cleft palate, and he just he's like born deformed, and so it's a lot of his struggles about him going to school, I think like 4th or 5th grade or something. It's his first year like at a public school, and like navigating that and friendships and everything like that. And it's a really powerful story, but it's also middle grade, so it was okay. It wasn't as good as I remember it, but it's like a cute, wholesome story. So for younger kids, I for sure would recommend it. It's pretty good. I think I gave it a 3-star, maybe a 4. I'll have to look on Goodreads, I don't remember. But yeah, it was cute. I remember really liking it growing up. So it was kind of fun rereading that. And then I read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, which I didn't even know until recently, but Christina Lauren is 2 people. It's Christina and Lauren. I only know that because one of my local bookstores had Christina and Lauren come for like an event, but it was before I'd read this book. And I was like, I don't have any of her books, or I haven't read any of them. And then of course I thrifted this one and then read it after they came. So that was kind of funny. But this is a second chance romance. So it follows, I always forget characters' names, Macy and Elliot. And they dated in high school, and then some horrific event occurred, and then they didn't talk for, I don't know, like 10 years or something, until they run into each other and start like cultivating a relationship again. And books where there's like a 10-year gap in second chance romance, just like, I'm like, why? Just communicate with each other, and none of that would have happened. Like, it bugs me so much, like miscommunication, just like, why? It's so easy to fix. But I mean, obviously you need something to like drive a book, but like 10 years, I mean, they're in high school, sure, they're immature, but like it gets me every time. So I gave this 3 stars, also because it was spicy. I don't know why I thought this wasn't a spicy book. I don't know, maybe Google lied to me or something. So it was like enjoyable certain parts, but like I didn't really care for it. Oh my gosh, there's a blurb from Kristen Harmel, the author of The Rue Monroe MLA, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of random. But yeah, 3 stars. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say and then I remembered it. But the event that caused them to like break up and be estranged, and everything that happened within like the next day was, I can't imagine going through that. Like, that was absolutely horrific. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. But that was wild. That was a wild reveal at the end. So that was enjoyable to read, but for the most part, it was just like an okay book. The next book I read was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, and this is my second book of his. I read A Man Called Uva like last month or something like that, and I gave that 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. If I remember correctly, I gave this a 3. I'll have to check Goodreads again. I can never remember my ratings unless it's like a 5-star. I think I give this a 3 though, because I liked A Man Called Uva better. But anyways, this Anxious People, honestly, I had no idea what this book was. I had gotten it at that book sale a few months ago, and I grabbed it just because it was Frederick Bachman, and I've heard so many good things about him, but not about Anxious People. But basically, there is a bank robber, and the robbery goes south, and then all of a sudden the bank robber has people hostage, and so you're following the 2 police officers that are trying to get control of the situation, and you get to know the characters so well. So you get to know the 2 police officers, the bank robber, and then the 5-6 people who are being held hostage. And so this book is really more of a character study of all those people, and they're from all sorts of different backgrounds. There's a really sweet old lady, there's a newly married couple, there's this really cranky like middle-aged woman who has all sorts of issues. Yeah, it's super interesting. The way Frederick Bachman writes is he like will tell a story and be like, oh, this has no importance, and then he's like, he actually does, I lied. These characters are really all interconnected before this hostage situation ever happens, and so you get like little blurbs of like 10 years ago this happened, and like this happens later, and then it all kind of intertwines into one story. So the plot isn't a plot. Like when you're reading the book, it's not this happened, this happened, this happened. It's like this happened this time, oh, and then in current this happened, and then like, oh, back to this. It's like all over the place. Stuff is happening so randomly. So I think that's why I kind of rated it lower. I definitely enjoyed plot-driven books more than character-driven books, but it was really interesting. Yeah, I guess it really discusses like just humanity and how, let's see if I can find a good quote. I'll just read the first 2 sentences. I feel like this sums it up really well. A bank robbery, a hostage drama, a stairwell full of police officers on their way to storm an apartment. It was easy to get to this point, much easier than you might think. All it took was one single really bad idea. This story is about a lot of things, but mostly about idiots. So it needs saying from the onset that it's always very easy to declare that other people are idiots, but if only you forget how idiotically difficult being human is, especially if you have other people you're trying to be a reasonably good human being for. Yeah, so it's a story about making stupid decisions and, yeah, I guess the goodness of people helping you through that. So it's really interesting so far between this book and A Man Called Uva. His books are very, like, I don't want to say like philosophical, because they're still stories, but like I feel like there's a lot of morals and like meaning behind them. It's not just like, here's a fun story. It's like they're very deep. I've never like loved his stories like 5-star, but like I have a really good appreciation for them. Yeah, he's definitely a really cool author. Next up, what did I read? I think I read this one next. This is The Land of Stories, The Ultimate Book Hugger's Guide. This is basically what the title is. It's the book hugger's guide to the series Land of Stories, which I read a few months ago. And I thrifted this and I binged it in like an hour. It's so short. It's pretty much like an encyclopedia of like all the different places and people and like characters and stuff that are in the Land of Stories series. So it's not a book, it's like a dictionary or like encyclopedia. But I read it, and that counts towards my goal. And then I read Heart of the Moors by Holly Black. I didn't know this book existed because I recently read the Folk of the Air trilogy, like the Cruel Prince trilogy, which is by Holly Black, and I loved that series so much. I gave all of those 5 stars, and I was like, it was so good. I loved it so much. And this is by the same author, but it's a middle grade book, so I went into it knowing it probably wasn't going to be a 5-star, and it wasn't. I gave it 4 stars. But like for a middle grade book, it was really fun. But it's like through Disney and like Maleficent. So it's like, it basically like continues the story after the traditional fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty. So there's like Maleficent and Aurora and Prince Philip are all like main characters in here. Yeah, it wasn't really anything special. It was like a cute romance and like adventure story. It was pretty predictable, but it was fun nonetheless. It was probably like, I don't know, 250, maybe 300 pages, so it was a pretty quick read. But yeah, that was interesting. And so that was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in a row with no 5 stars. So yeah, I was so close to being in a reading slump at that point. I was like, I need to read a 5-star. So I did a reread. And that is Lady of a Thousand Treasures by Sandra Bird. I read this book like probably just about like over a year ago, and I loved it. I remember just like sitting in my room reading this, having to like put the book down because it was so good, literally squealing out loud. I love it so much. It's a Christian Regency romance, which is why I thought I'd like the other book. But this is one I just randomly found. Like I just was at the library sale and I saw the cover and I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, let me get it. And then 5-star. It's so good. It follows the main character Eleanor, and her dad and her uncle have like this antiquities business. And oh yeah, this also takes place in the late 1800s, like 1860 in London. And her dad died and her uncle is pretty much, he has like dementia, but of course they don't know what that is at that point. And so she basically is taking over the family business, but also she's a woman in the 1860s, so she can't really do that. So she's trying to like keep her family business alive while like being a woman. That in itself is hard. And then there's money issues and she's trying to deal with that. And the main conflict of the whole book is there's a guy that she thought was like going to marry her, but then he like disappears for 6 months without really saying anything. So she doesn't trust him anymore. And then his dad dies, and his dad was a client of her family business, and the dad does not like his son at all for a whole slew of reasons. So he lets Eleanor have the decision of whether or not his son should be disinherited. It's crazy that he literally is making her try to decide, basically like her ex-boyfriend's, if he gets the inheritance or not. So she's trying to figure out, like, does she trust him? Like, why the heck did he leave? Like, this is a huge burden to try to decide this. And yeah, it's super cute. I love it so much. It's so wholesome. This is the kind of romance that I love. Like, it's so cute and wholesome, and I love them so much. And I love, like, the Christian aspect of it, too. Like, it's not... I feel like some books, when they're trying to make them, like, Christian books, it's just, like, cheesy and they're like shoving it in there for no reason, but it really fit in this book, where she just like, you know, like be praying and like just random little things like that just felt so natural in the story. Yeah, so I love this. I loved rereading it. I was kind of worried it wouldn't be a 5-star again when I reread it, because I read this book when I just started getting back into reading. So I was like, is it really a 5-star or was it just getting back into reading again? But it's a 5-star. It's so good. I love it so much. There's literally so many tabs. I don't think you can even see all of them, because there's like half of them are like these clear tan tabs, so I don't think you can even see them on camera. But like I even tabbed more. When I read it the second time, it's so good. I love it so much. It was supposed to be part of a series too, and this is the only one, so that's sad. But I will be keeping an eye out for more books by this author, for sure. And then the last book, oh, it's over here, hold on. The last book I read this month, I actually read the very last day of June, literally in one day. I don't know why I did that to myself. I was like, I need to finish this in the month of June so I can include it in the video. But like, this is my video, I can make my own rules. But I read it in a day. And that is The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. Kiera Cass is my favorite romance author of all time. Like, literally, I don't think anyone is ever gonna surpass her. I mean, there are other romance authors I love, like Catherine Center. Both of the books I've read by her are 5 stars. But she has so many books I haven't read. Versus Kiera Cass, I've read all of her books, and they are all 5 stars. Well, okay, I take that back. One of the books I gave a 4-star because it's like within a series, and compared to the others in the series, it's like kind of setting up the series. And that's besides the point. They're basically all 5 stars. And I have not read this one, I don't know, like 2 years or something. It's been a while. And it's so good. I love all of her books so much. And this is a duology, so I've actually already read the second one. It's like July 6th or something. I'm recording this pretty late. But oh my gosh, her writing is so good. This is about Lady Hollis, who lives in this fictional kingdom, and she's courting the king. And so she's like super close to like becoming his betrothed, and then a wrench gets thrown into that plan, and something happens, and all of a sudden she finds herself realizing she's, actually, you'll have to find that out for yourself. But we'll just say, her plans change and something crazy happens. And the ending of this book, it makes me cry every single time. Like, why do you have to do this to me, Kiera Cass? Like, why'd you end it like that? Yeah, and the second book is also sad. Not quite as sad as the first book. This first book, the antagonist in this book, I hate him so much. You don't actually really find out the extent of what he does until the second book, but oh my gosh, when I read it and I remembered what he did, I was literally like ranting out loud. This book, oh my gosh. And it's kind of funny because a few of my friends have read this book and they're like, it wasn't that good. I didn't like the main character. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's so good. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it was Bailey McKnight from Brooklyn and Bailey read this book, and I think she gave it like a 1 or 2 star. And I was like, what do you mean? It's 5 stars. Yeah, also it's probably just nostalgic because I read this in like middle school and loved it. So maybe I'm biased, but also like I love it. So it's my taste. It's my 5 stars. Oh, and then also this book is signed. I like bought this secondhand off of like, I don't know, eBay or thrift books or something like years ago. And so I didn't know it was signed until it came. And I was like, it's freaking signed. Yeah, if you can't tell, she's like my favorite author. Like no one's ever gonna surpass her, I don't think. I'm really hoping that she'll like write another book soon and I can like, you know, go and meet her and stuff and get it signed. But her latest book was 1,000 Heartbeats, and that came out, I don't know, 2022 or something like that. So it's been a few years, which is either a bad sign that she's not writing anything, or it's a good sign, which means the book is gonna come out like tomorrow. Who knows? Wishful thinking. But there we have it. There's all 9 books that I read in the month of June. I mean, the number is pretty good. The quality is kind of sad. I did not find a single new 5-star book, which is always the best feeling. I mean, rereading stuff is also so fun. Wait, these two look so cute together. That's adorable. What was I saying? Oh yeah, just like finding a new 5-star book is the best feeling ever. Like when I read like last month, was that last month when I read Divine Rivals, which was a duology that was both 5 stars, and then The Cruel Prince, which was a trilogy plus a short story book, which was all 5 stars. So I was like, that month was wild for new 5 stars. That was so good. So this month was a little bit disappointing after that, but that's okay. This is still a lot of books, and the last 2 books I read were both impeccable 5 stars, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think now having 2 5 stars in a row is going to give me the motivation I need for the next vlog that I have coming, because let's just say it's going to stretch me and I'm not ready for it, but I'm going to start that. I need to start that, otherwise I'm not going to start that. I literally have the books in this bag because I'm like, I brought them because I'm like, I need to start reading them. So we'll have to do that pretty soon, otherwise I'm never going to do that. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope the audio worked this time. I took a test video before I started filming again because I was like, I'm not sitting down for another half an hour and yapping for the audio to not work. I really hope that's not the case. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.